Okay, I'm going to do a quick training tips before we have our training today. Rob is going to be presenting our training. Today, though, as we are going to do in all of our staff breakfasts, is a quick training tips on retention, 3 areas of retention: the who, the why, the who, and the what. Again, retention. Why do we keep talking about retention at staff breakfast? It's a very major part of what we do, and it's an indicator of our success in what we do. And so it's an indicator of quality of care. It's an indicator of a program model integrity and fidelity, an overall indicator for how we are doing. Who is responsible to focus on retention? So today we're going to be talking about counselors, and specifically we're going to talk about conflict situations with counselors. So our counselors on the mountain handle a lot of conflictual situations. A lot of our members that come up here have a lot of internal conflict going on inside of them, and so conflict is a really big part, and conflict mitigation is a big part of what they do. So conflict causes our residents to disengage. That's kind of what conflict does. It distracts us. It pulls us away from what we're trying to kind of focus on here. So first of all, we would suggest to pray for better understanding of where the resident is at with their situation. Respond to residents' needs with patience and grace. Ephesians 4:2, be completely humble and gentle, be patient, bearing with one another in love. And then third, if a specific response to a situation is causing conflict to intensify, disengage, the counselor disengage, and reach out to another counselor or a supervisor. Always bring in support. We work together as a team. Try not to forget that, especially in moments of conflict. There are a lot of people around you, especially those that are sitting here right now. Just remember that in those situations that not one of us is responsible for everything that goes on here. But as a whole, we work together to handle these situations. And I think when we get into intense conflict, that's pretty much the first thing that kind of goes out the window. I know for me, that's kind of the first thing that goes out the window is that, okay, I need to fix this right now, and it's all on me. The responsibility falls all on me. And that's not the case. We have a lot of really good people around us. And so I think one of our best tools in conflict resolution is to remember who's around us and that they're willing to jump into it just as much as we are. So thank you very much. I now want to invite Rob up here to start the training. Have a great day.
Good morning. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Rob Cymbor, the operations manager. For those who do know me, one thing, I drank decaf this morning. All right, so we're going to be talking about health, safety, environmental risk factors. My favorite topic, as I'm sure it'll be yours as well. So let's begin. And by the way, first time using this, humor me, please. Okay. Safety. Whose responsibility is safety? It's everyone's. The reason why on such a large campus, the eyes of maintenance, housekeeping can't be everywhere. Everyone's here, they see something, it's your responsibility to make sure things are taken care of. If you see a tear in a carpet, if you see something that represents an issue, if you see what I could call the octopus, an outlet with 15 million cords hanging out, send a ticket through operations, let us know. We can't be there. We need your help to make sure the campus is safe. Okay, so environmental safety, physical risk. What are examples of unsafe environment? Improperly maintained devices. If something's got a crack in it, if a electrical outlet's cracked, if there is a HVAC vent hanging out of the ceiling, something like that. That's an example of something that's a environmental risk. What's a physical risk? Michael talked about this with some of the stresses that we are involved here, that sometimes that builds up and wells up. Those are examples of potential physical risk. risk of harm from altercations. That's that explosion that happens. Abuse or neglect. We really don't want that to happen. If anybody is aware of any of that, please speak up. So, what are we looking to do? We need to determine what the risks are. We're trying to mitigate them. We want to minimize those. Report those to anyone who could be helpful. Report it to operations, report it to senior management, report it to somebody. Make sure if you see a risk that is a physical risk goes through operations, a risk of a physical nature, something that's a little more higher level, report it to your supervisor. And then the next thing to do is we're going to analyze that and see, okay, what caused the risk? How do we then go back and mitigate it? Let's go back and how do we fix that? Because once we've identified it, the best thing we need to do is fix it so it doesn't happen again. Everyone knows the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. If we see there's a problem that's causing a situation, the best thing we need to do is fix that situation. All right. So, evacuation plan. There is an evacuation plan that's out on the share drive, the S drive, and every program has a specific location where they need to go. They're up there on the screen. Short-term detox, you go down to the activity center. Long-term goes to the weight room. Wilkerson Hall goes to the activity parking lot. That means we get to stand outside in the weather. Yay. And Weber parking lot, that's the lower level parking lot, you guys also get to stand out in the rain as well. Sorry. We get the fun spots. Okay, so let's talk about some examples of different types of examples of bring a brain fart here, sorry. What are some different examples of some emergencies? One, fire drills. Treat all fire drills as real. That alarm goes off, go, leave. From personal experience, I speak. I was in a hotel fire down in D.C. at the Sheraton, right there by Ronald Reagan International. When that alarm went off, it woke me up out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. The entire hotel evacuated. Trust me, being in a real fire is nothing like a fire drill. Practice makes perfect. So that alarm goes off, get out. Now, what happens if there are situations where you can ignore a fire alarm? An email will come out from one of 4 people, myself, Craig, Mel, or Aaron or Bob from maintenance. If you receive an email from us stating that you are to ignore the fire alarms because there's something going on, you may ignore it. You will then receive a corresponding email that says that all alarms are now real. Once you receive that, you hear an alarm, get out of the building. Do not wait. The last thing you do is, well, I didn't know what was going on. That's the last thing. If you hear that alarm, get out. Don't wait. Okay, chemical spills. We all know that housekeeping, maintenance, they work with different chemicals. If a chemical is spilled on the ground, don't touch it. Don't put your finger in and taste it, see what it smells like. If it's got a little bouquet or flavor, that's a bad thing. Okay, first, you want to do is you want to isolate any possible human interaction. If you see something, let people know, hey, look, there's a spill there, stand away. Put up put a ticket in, let housekeeping know, they'll put something up to isolate that. Second, notify your supervisor and operations of that spill. Hey, we need to know about it so we can clean it up. Third, evacuate the area immediately and proceed to an assigned meeting spot. That means just get everybody out of the way, get in a centralized area, and make sure everything's okay. If it's an extreme situation, if it's bubbling, if it smells, if it irritates your eyes, if it burns your lungs, pull the fire alarm. Why? That is a highly irritable situation. You need to get out quickly. Treat it just like a fire drill. Okay, moving along. Power loss. What happens when the power goes out? First off, don't panic. It's okay. Secondly, locate a flashlight, sensors report, and handheld radio. The power goes out, that means computers go down, that means email's not going to work. So, and your phone. Those will work. Anything that's driven by power will not, obviously. So, gather any students and staff in a centralized location, do a head count. Once all people are identified as being there, resume proper clinical processes as can be. Once power is restored, you can begin all clear and return to your normal area. Now, there's one spot on the campus that has a generator backup. That's a short-term detox unit. If the power goes out, it'll kick on almost instantaneously, is what I was told. So everything, all essential equipment will kick on. That does not include computers. Sorry, Mel, they're not important. So, Anything that's essential, that's power, that's your light, that's your power, things along those lines, any machines, things like that, that will resume. Hang loose, once the power kicks back on again, everything will come back up. Okay, here we go. Tornado. We are now entering that wonderful time of year, spring, summer, where tornadoes could be a possibility. One touchdown in Denver the other day. I lost half a tree in my front yard because of the tornado that came through. So, there is a list of the different locations of where people are supposed to go. Short-term detox, proceed to the lower level and stand in the hallway, face inner wall. Dorm areas, proceed to the lower level and stand in the hallway, face inner walls. Wilkerson Hall, move to the lower level. For those of us on the lower level, stay where you are. And move to the inner wall, getting away from the windows, meaning let's move into the interior. Industrial building, upstairs, proceed downstairs. Auto body, print shop, industrial production, gym, move to the inside of the building, face inside. Basically, if a tornado happens, you want to get down to the lowest possible spot and move away from any windows. As a tornado goes by, the pressure drops, it will shatter the windows and shards will come in. You want to get to the safest possible spot. Lower levels of buildings have reinforcement. Away from windows, obviously, is extremely safe. Okay, my next one of my favorite ones. Automobile accident. What do? If involved in an automobile accident, it's just similar to when you get involved in a personal one. You want to exchange information with the person. 1, driver's license, insurance, registration, contact phone number. Give them my phone number as the operations manager. They will contact me. 2, take any pictures that are required of any accident, of any damage on their vehicle and your vehicle. 3, if the police come up, be cooperative. They're there to help. You know, don't even think it's the man. They're gonna get away. No. They're there to help. Fill out any reports, answer any questions, but also give them my phone number as well as the point of contact. When you get back, complete an incident report, send it to me, your supervisor, and HR. Any additional questions, you'll hear from us. That's pretty straightforward. We've all, I think, been involved in an accident. If not, good for you. Okay. The next one. This one is actually becoming more and more prevalent in today's society. Active shooter. With what's going on today, we need to be very, very cautious of what happens with that. This isn't like the movie when someone walks in and you can do the Bruce Willis thing and run with the gun and go tackle. It doesn't happen that way. Real life is not like that. You have 3 possible options. Run, hide, fight. Run. If you hear an active shooter, grab anybody and everybody around you and proceed to a safe area. Stay in that area until local law enforcement come and tell you it's safe. Hide. Just that. If you can't get away, you hear that person close, grab everybody around you, staff, students, whatever, find a safe spot to hide. Hide behind desks, hide behind walls. Don't hide behind cardboard. It's not going to stop a bullet if they shoot. Lastly, fight. Last resort. You're in immediate proximity of the shooter. If you can disarm the person, that is your objective. And by disarm, I mean grab something, hit that person with it. If there's a fire extinguisher, hit them with it. You want to physically disarm them and immobilize them, okay? Once they're down and immobilized, knock the weapon out of the way. The last thing you need to do is pick up the gun and point it at the person who just came in. Local law enforcement is going to come in. They're going to see you with the gun. Their first reaction is going to be to do what? Shoot first, ask questions later. Exactly. So, push the gun away. Now, keeping the person immobilized. This is going to sound really strange and weird, but they taught me this at Boscov's. The person's on the ground and you want to immobilize them, sit on them. Literally, sit on their butt so they can't move. Why their butt? So they can still breathe. If you're a lightweight, have someone else sit on them. Sit on them so they can't move. That's how you will immobilize somebody. I know it sounds weird, it sounds odd, but think about it. You don't want that person to get up and start moving again. If they're down, keep them down. All right. Moving along. Bomb threat. This has also been a little more prevalent as well in today's society. Unfortunately, they happen. There is an actual procedure for the bomb threat that is actually, this is a virtual copy of what the bomb threat is. First things first, when a person calls on the phone, don't explode. Thank you for laughing, Jamie. I appreciate that. Okay, no, remain calm. Okay, there is a bomb threat checklist out on the shared drive. If you don't have it, grab a piece of paper and start taking notes. Second thing, flag someone else down in your work area. Say, hey, something like that, so they can understand there's a bomb caller. You got some things you need to do. Start asking some questions in a in a very controlled fashion. Okay, what's your name? Where's the bomb? Why are you doing this? What's it made of? When's it going to go off? Listen to what you're hearing. Do you hear bells in the background? Listen to what's going on around you. These are all key things that can help identify where the caller is calling from. Listen to some of their verbiage and when they're talking. And I say that because Ted Kaczynski was found because of some of his verbiage that he used was strictly unique to him. So listen to what they're saying and how they're saying it. That can be very useful. Basically, like I said, listen to that. Basically, that second person you notify, they're going to notify the supervisor, and they're going to call 911. Reason why? Because that's what they're paid to do. Bomb squad is trained in this. If we're approached by students and we're trying to get everybody out of there, and they're saying, what's going on? Don't tell them, oh yeah, it's a bomb threat. Instantaneously, everybody's going to go nuts. Say, we're just practicing an emergency evacuation. Leave it simple as that. The supervisor will contact 911. They'll contact all the necessary people in the chain of command of what needs to happen. All right, let's see. Make sure you go through proper exit doors. Okay, here's an interesting thing. Okay, you're walking around, you walk outside, you see a backpack laying in there. It wasn't there before. Do not pick it up. Do not shake it. Do not kick it. Note where it is. Note what it is. Find someone who's got a radio who can communicate or a phone who can communicate and say, hey, there's something suspicious over here. The worst thing you can do is pick it up. It could have something in it that sets it off. That's what the professionals are there for. All right. Okay, once you're outside the building, do not go back in. If you forgot something, let it be. You can always replace an item. You can't replace a person. It's very simple as that. All right. Let's see. Last but not least, medical emergency. In the event of a medical emergency, follow basic rules of first aid and safety. Assess the situation when you walk in. Call for help. We can't do things alone. Call for a fellow person. Hey, help. Go to the supervisor. Tell them to call 911. Bring back the first aid kit. This is very similar to anybody who's received first aid training. If there's no immediate danger, if there's not like a cable lying around or something like that, proceed over the person. See if they're responsive. Say their name. Push them on the shoulder. Shout their name. Hey, sorry, I'm going to pick on you right in front of me. Hey, Mel, can you hear me? See if they get a response. You're the one I looked at, so I'm sorry, I'm picking on you. Look for any open wounds or sign of blood. If there's any blood, don't touch it. Wait till the first aid kit comes back. Put on your personal protective equipment, PPE. You don't want any risk of any possible contaminants going on. Try to ascertain what happened. Did the person slip and fall? Was there electrical shock? Did they just pass out? Could they be diabetic? Could something be going on? Stay with that person until the help returns and or 911 gets there. Never attempt any medical procedures unless you've been properly trained. Just because you watched ER doesn't mean you're a doctor. Okay? If you can't do it, don't do it. The laws of the Good Samaritan laws do apply. Those who do good deeds and you inadvertently crack over a rib, you are protected. But if you're not trained and not certified, don't do it. Wait for the proper personnel. Call the nurse's station. Thank you. Missed that one. Together. Yes, the nurse's station will come. I think that's actually up there. Yep. Okay, yeah, call for help. Ask another coworker to call the nurse's station. There is an emergency and send them to them immediately. That's actually the second bullet point. When the person is being attended to by proper personnel, that's when you sit there and step away. And then go down and fill out an incident report. Sit down right away and write down what has happened. Do it quickly because as time goes by, you will forget what happens. That was short, sweet, and simple, and that was on decaf. So think about if I was caffeinated, where this would have gone. So remember, fire drills. They're all real. If you see a fire, what do we do if you see an actual fire? Treat that just like a fire drill. Number one, if it's a small fire, remember, use the pass system. One, if you can use the find a fire extinguisher, use the pass system. See if you can locate it. If it's a small fire, pass. Pull, aim, squeeze, sweep. Pull the pin on the fire extinguisher. Aim the nozzle at the bottom of the fire. Squeeze the handle and sweep back and forth. This is a small fire. This is a trash can. This is of an office, something very small. It was a large fire. Pull the fire alarm and then follow the fire procedures. Gather people, get out. Do not wait. Call the front desk, let them know what's going on so we can call the fire department. And again, get out of the building. Once you've exited the building, do not go back in. Case in point, the courtyard. If you exit this way into the courtyard, don't. Exit out. Never go back into another building. You never know what's going on the other side of the building. All right, I think I've hit everything. I'd ask for questions, but I don't know if that's going to go. All right, that's all I've got. Thank you for humoring me. Have a pleasant day.